Sit down!
Release my arm.
You're being removed!
On what authority? Don't touch her!
Everyone freeze! She resisted!
Enter what happened into the record.
Hands behind your back!
Name the lawful order. She did nothing! Officer, stop moving! She assaulted me! I stopped you from twisting my arm.
Your Honor, witnesses saw it. Stay out of this! She's disrupting court!
I asked about missing evidence.
Miss Carter, sit
Preserve
down.
the record first. Please listen to her.
The report says 918. Read the receipt. That pin means nothing here.
I never said it did. Officer, step back.
You stay at your machine.
Why did you stop typing? Because I heard every word. Keep recording. You're coming with me. For asking a question?
This hearing is over.
No, the timeline is broken. The recorder is still running.
Why are you
So someone expected silence. Because he grabbed her first. I saw it.
They're interfering! Officer, step away! Who is come away?
Keep the doors open. Keep the doors open. No one touches.
Why are they evidence? Quiet! Major General, we've been searching for you.
Major General?
She never said that. Officer, who is she? The record. All evidence is preserved.
Then let the record speak.
The officer's hand locked around the black woman's arm before the judge could finish speaking. Sit down, or I'll remove you myself. She did not shout. She simply turned, broke his grip, and said, "You have just made a very serious mistake." Why was a courtroom cop so desperate to silence a woman in a plain charcoal suit? Why did the clerk suddenly stop typing when she saw the small gold pin on her lapel? And why did 3 uniformed officials enter moments later, asking for her by title? What happened next exposed more than one arrogant officer and forced an entire courthouse to answer for what it had been hiding. Stay to the end. The scrape of a chair leg cut through the courtroom as Amina Carter turned her wrist inward and stepped half a pace aside. Blake Mercer's grip slipped free. "Back away," Amina said. Mercer reached for the cuffs at his belt. "You assaulted an officer." "No, I stopped you from twisting my arm." Behind the rail, Naya rose so quickly her legal pad struck the floor. Pages slid beneath the defense table. "Mom, don't!" Judge Elias Grant brought down his gavel. "Everyone remain where they are." Mercer stayed between Amina and the aisle. Cold air moved across her damp wrist. The marks of his fingers burned beneath the cuff of her burgundy blouse. "Your Honor," Amina said, "I request that his contact with me and my response be entered into the record." Court reporter Lana Reed stopped typing when she noticed the gold eagle on Amina's lapel. Mercer followed her gaze. "That pin gives you no authority here." "I never said it did." Captain Ronan Hale entered through the side door. "What happened?" "She resisted removal," Mercer said. A man in the second row shook his head, then looked down when Hale scanned the room. Amina faced the bench. "The transcript will answer that." Grant pressed 2 fingers to his temple. "Ms. Carter, you were warned not to interrupt." "I asked that missing evidence be preserved." "You challenged the court." "I challenged a timeline." Naya whispered, "Please sit down." Her voice broke. Amina looked at her daughter 12 feet away behind the rail. Naya gripped the table until her knuckles paled. In Amina's wallet, a graduation photograph had one corner worn soft. Mercer stepped closer. "Hands behind your back." The room slowed. A ceiling light flickered. An elevator chimed in the hall. Lana's recorder showed one red pulse, then another. Amina placed both hands on the rail. "On what charge?" "Interfering with an officer." "Which lawful order did I refuse?" Mercer's jaw tightened. "Captain?" Hale glanced at the judge, waiting for cover. Grant's gavel remained raised but did not fall. Marcus Lee, Naya's public defender, crouched to gather the fallen papers. A parking receipt lay among them. He read the printed time, then looked at the incident report. "Your Honor," Marcus said, rising, "before anyone is removed, I need to address a discrepancy." Dana Whitfield pushed back from the prosecution table. "Not now." "Now." The report says the confrontation began at 9:18. This receipt shows Ms. Carter entered the garage at 9:26. Mercer looked toward Hale. Only for a second. Lana saw it. So did Amina. Grant lowered the gavel. "Officer Mercer, step away from her." Mercer obeyed, slowly. Metal clicked as he returned the cuffs to their case. Amina straightened her sleeve. "Thank you, Your Honor." Grant's face tightened. 10-minute recess. The bailiff called the room to rise. Benches creaked. Whispers swelled toward the doors. Naya came around the table. "You promised you would come as my mom." "I did." "Then why is everyone staring at that pin?" Before Amina could answer, Lana approached with her stenography pad pressed to her chest. "Miss Carter," she said quietly, "official audio wasn't the only recording running." Mercer, halfway through the side door, stopped without turning. At 6:45 a.m., Amina stood in the kitchen of Nia's apartment, turning a chipped mug so its handle faced her daughter. "You haven't eaten." "I'm not hungry." Rain tapped the fire escape. The room smelled of burnt toast and coffee. Nia sat at the table in a navy blouse, rereading the same court notice without moving past the first page. Amina folded a napkin. "Marcus said the hearing may be brief. He also said the prosecutor wants a plea." "A plea is not guilt." "To the college it is." Nia's phone vibrated. The department chair's name lit the screen. She let it ring. "He wants to know if I'll be in class Monday," she said. "That depends on whether a courthouse officer gets to rewrite 5 minutes of my life." 3 weeks earlier, Nia had been leaving court after helping an older veteran complete a benefits appeal. Mercer ordered the man away from a public bench, then demanded Nia stop asking for his name. By the time backup arrived, the argument had become a report accusing her of obstruction. Amina lifted the graduation photograph beside her keys. Nia smiled under a crooked cap while Amina stood beside her in uniform. The corner had softened from years inside Amina's wallet. "Put that away," Nia said. "I always carry it." "That's not what I meant." At the courthouse garage, the concrete held the night's cold. Their footsteps echoed between parked cars. Amina wore a charcoal pantsuit and burgundy blouse, the gold eagle pin fixed to her lapel. Nia noticed it before they reached the elevator. "You said no uniform." "This isn't one. The pin is enough. It identifies a professional association. It identifies you." The elevator indicator blinked red. Somewhere below, a car alarm chirped once. Nia lowered her voice. "Please don't call anyone from the base. Don't make the judge think I'm borrowing your rank. I came to sit behind you." "You missed my teaching award because of an inspection." Amina kept one hand on her leather bag. Nia continued, quieter. "You missed the first day I taught. You missed the night Dad's things were packed. Today, I need my mother, not Major General Carter." The elevator doors opened with a dull shudder. Amina stepped inside but did not press the button. "Then, that is who I am today." "Can you promise?" "Yes." The courthouse lobby was warm, crowded, and bright with fluorescent light. Wet coats brushed their shoulders as visitors formed 2 security lines. A plastic tray rattled along a conveyor. Mercer stood at the nearer scanner, laughing with Captain Hale until he saw Nia. His smile vanished. "That her?" Hale asked. Mercer did not lower his voice. "That's her." Nia's fingers tightened around the court notice. Amina placed her bag on the belt. "Good morning." Mercer's eyes moved from her face to the gold pin, then to Nia. "Family?" "Yes." He pushed a gray tray toward her. Then keep her under control this time. Nia stared at the floor. Amina set her phone inside. It spun once against the plastic before lying still. "Officer," she said, "what exactly happened last time?" Mercer leaned closer, his breath carrying peppermint and stale coffee. "You'll hear it in court." The scanner light changed from green to red, though no one had stepped through. The scanner stayed red until Mercer struck the side panel with 2 fingers. "Try again." Amina stepped behind the yellow line. The machine hummed, warm air brushing her face, then flashed green. "No metal," she said. "Machines make mistakes." "So do reports." Mercer's eyes narrowed, but someone coughed behind them. He waved her through and shoved her bag forward hard enough to drop its strap onto the floor. Nia bent for it. "I have it," Amina said. She followed her daughter across the marble lobby. Wet wool gave way to the smell of floor polish near the elevators. Behind them, Mercer said something to Hale. Both men laughed once. At 8:17, Marcus Lee met them outside Courtroom 3. He was 38, compact, with rimless glasses and a habit of tapping documents into perfect alignment before speaking. "We have a problem," he said. Nia gave a dry laugh. "Only one?" Marcus opened a blue folder. "The state produced Mercer's report at midnight. I read it 3 times because I thought I was tired." He pointed to the first page. "He says the confrontation began in interview room B at 9:18 a.m. "That room was locked," Nia said. "We were in the public corridor." "His supplemental statement places your detention at 9:14. Amina took the pages. 4 minutes before the event. "And the booking sheet says 9:22. Nia stared at him. "Can they fix it?" "They can call it clerical error." Amina placed 1 fingernail beneath each timestamp. "Not 3 errors pointing the same way." Marcus turned another page. The room number was changed from C to B. Different ink, heavier pressure. "Who had the original?" Amina asked. "Security." "And the preservation notice?" Marcus slid out the evidence index. The line for body camera retention was blank. The corridor seemed to narrow. A ventilation fan clicked overhead, stopped, then began again with a faint rattle. Nia folded her arms. "He wore a camera. I saw the red light." Marcus nodded. "The report says no relevant footage exists." "That isn't the same as saying it never existed," Amina said. Marcus studied her. "What exactly do you do?" "Today, I'm her mother." Nia glanced away, but some stiffness left her shoulders. Across the hall, Mercer stood beside Hale, pretending to check a visitor log while watching the blue folder. "The family's trying to complicate a simple case," he said. His voice carried. Hale lowered his coffee. "Then don't give them anything else." "I didn't." Amina examined the report. A shallow indentation crossed the margin beside the altered room number, as if another page had been written on top. "Marcus, do you have a pencil?" He handed her one. She shaded lightly across the paper. Letters emerged beneath the graphite. Hall East. Save video. Nia's lips parted. Marcus whispered, "That instruction isn't in the final report." A courtroom door opened. Warm light spilled over the tiles as Dana Whitfield stepped out, carrying a plea form. "Miss Carter," the prosecutor called to Nia, "we can resolve this before the judge takes the bench." Mercer folded the visitor log closed. Amina kept the shaded page flat between both hands. "First," she said, "we need to know who ordered that line removed." Dana Whitfield held the plea form against her folder. "This offer expires when the judge takes the bench." Marcus kept the shaded report turned away from Mercer. "Then we need 5 minutes." "You have 2." Amina folded the page and handed it back. Preserve it. Don't write on it again. Dana watched her. And you are? Nia's mother. That is not a legal role. No, Amina said, but timestamps are still timestamps. The courtroom doors opened. Visitors moved toward the security table, where a sign allowed silent phones in the corridor but prohibited recording inside. Amina reached for her device in the gray tray. Mercer covered it with his palm. Leave it. The sign says I may keep it outside the courtroom. I'm giving you a direct instruction. Under which rule? The one that keeps relatives from disrupting proceedings. Behind Amina, a man silenced his own phone. Mercer ignored him. Another visitor slipped a device into her coat pocket and passed. Nia whispered, Mom, let it go. Amina released the phone. It spun against the plastic, its case scraping the bottom with each turn. State your name and the policy number, she said. Mercer pushed the tray away. You don't get to interrogate me. Captain Hale appeared beside him, coffee steaming in a paper cup. Problem? She refuses screening instructions. I complied with screening, Amina said. He is confiscating only my phone. Hale glanced at the posted rule. Temporary security measure. For whom? For anyone we determine may interfere. Marcus stepped closer. Captain, my client's family needs access to counsel during recess. Counsel can walk 10 feet. Dana checked her watch. 1 minute. Warm, dusty air came through the vent. Inside, a microphone popped. Lana Reed approached, carrying her stenography case, her black cardigan buttoned unevenly. Mercer leaned toward Hale as the crowd moved. These relatives always think rules are optional, he muttered. Sometimes you have to train them to respect the room. Lana's hand stopped on the door handle. Amina saw her mouth tighten. Lana checked the wall clock, 8:24, opened a spiral pad, and underlined the time twice. Hale noticed. Something you need, Ms. Reed? Just keeping my sequence straight. She entered the courtroom. Mercer tapped the tray. Collect it after the hearing. Amina removed her black leather watch and placed it beside the phone. Log both items. The watch can stay. Then the phone can stay too, unless you can identify a different rule. The visitors behind her had gone quiet. Hale set down his cup. Coffee trembled under the lid. Log the device, Blake. Mercer pulled out a receipt book and wrote so hard the pen tore the top sheet. He slid the stub across the table without looking at Amina. Nia took her mother's elbow as they entered. You make every inch cost them. No, Amina said. I make them name what they're doing. Inside, Lana arranged her machine below the bench. A tiny red light blinked on the backup recorder beneath it. Mercer entered through the side door and bent toward another officer. Make her look unstable, he whispered. Then none of the rest matters. Lana's fingers hovered above the keys, and the red light kept blinking. Dana placed the plea agreement in front of Nia at 8:31 a.m. Disorderly conduct, she said. No jail, no probation, a modest fine. Sign now and this ends today. The room barely held 4 chairs. Fluorescent light buzzed above a scarred table. Lemon disinfectant could not hide old coffee. Marcus read the first page. A conviction still appears on a background check. It is a municipal violation. To a college, it is a reason not to renew her contract. Nia's pen rested beside the signature line. My department chair already called twice. Amina stood near the door, listening to shoes pass outside. What happens if she refuses? We proceed, Dana said. Officer Mercer testifies. Your daughter explains why she disobeyed him. The judge decides whom he believes. And the missing video? Equipment fails. The altered room number? Clerical error. The impossible timeline? Dana's mouth tightened. You are not counsel. No, so answer counsel. Marcus turned the agreement around. My client needs time. You have until the bailiff calls the case. Nia picked up the pen. Its silver tip hovered over the paper. Amina stayed where she was. Read paragraph 6. Nia swallowed. Waiver of appeal. And paragraph 8, Marcus said. Admission that I interfered with lawful courthouse operations. Dana checked the clock. Standard language. It says I lied, Nia replied. It says the matter ends. A cart rattled over the corridor tile. Then came Mercer's brief laugh. Nia tightened her fingers around the pen. If I fight and lose, the college suspends me. If I sign, they may let me teach Monday. Marcus removed his glasses. Or they may decide an admitted offense involving court security makes you unsuitable for civic law courses. The pen lowered. Amina took the worn graduation photograph from her wallet and set it on the table, facing Mia. You carried that to every deployment, Nia said. Yes. You missed the ceremony dinner? Yes. Dana rose. We are out of time. Amina met her daughter's eyes. I will not decide for you. Nia's hand shook once. The pen touched the paper, but left no mark. What would you do? She asked. I would ask what they fear 20 more minutes might uncover. Marcus leaned forward. Give us 20 minutes. I'll file a preservation motion and request the metadata. There is no metadata if the file is corrupted. Then proving that should be easy. A knock struck the door. Mercer opened it without waiting. Court's ready? His gaze found the unsigned line. Smart choice. Nia lifted the pen. I haven't made it. The judge won't enjoy delays. Amina returned the photograph to her wallet. Neither will whoever changed that report. Dana reached for the agreement. 10 minutes, not 20. 20, Marcus said. Or I state on the record that the prosecution refused a preservation request while offering a plea based on missing evidence. The hallway noise seemed to shrink. Dana studied him, then Nia, then Mercer. 20 minutes, she said. No more. Mercer stepped aside, but his shoulder blocked half the doorway. As Nia passed, he murmured, You should have signed. Amina heard him. So did Lana Reed, waiting down the corridor, her pad open. At 8:49 a.m., the courtroom screen turned blue. No signal, the clerk said. Dana Whitfield stood beside the evidence cart. The East Corridor camera was offline that morning, and Officer Mercer's body camera file was corrupted during upload. Marcus rose. Corrupted or deleted? Corrupted. By whom? That assumes misconduct. Judge Grant adjusted his glasses. Counsel, stay with what can be established. Amina sat behind Nia, close enough to see the pulse at her daughter's temple. Cold air crossed her neck. A cable tapped against wood. Marcus held up the parking receipt. This places Ms. Carter's vehicle in the garage at 9:26. Mercer's report says the confrontation began at 9:18, and his first account was completed at 9:24. Mercer shifted near the side door. Dana said, The garage clock may be inaccurate. Amina leaned toward Marcus. Request the calibration log. He nodded. The defense requests the garage record and its last calibration. Hale folded his arms. "This is a fishing expedition." Grant looked at him. "Captain, you are not counsel." A murmur moved through the benches, then vanished. Naya whispered, "They knew the times were wrong." "They knew enough to change the room," Amina replied. Marcus placed the shaded report under the document camera. The faint impression filled the screen. Hall East, save video. Dana stared at it too long. "Where's the original page?" Marcus asked. "In the security office." "Then why is this instruction missing from the final report?" Mercer stepped forward. "Because it was never part of my report." Lana Reed's fingers stopped above her keys. "Officer," Grant said, "return to your position." The judge called a 10-minute recess while the prosecution searched for the digital evidence log. Chairs scraped back. Warm air entered. Naya stayed seated, rubbing the red groove the pen had left along her thumb. "I almost signed," she said. Amina folded the receipt into thirds. "You didn't. Because you asked one question. Because you answered it." Near the side exit, Mercer bent toward another officer. "If she keeps talking, make her look unstable. Then none of this matters." Lana tilted her head. A red light glowed beneath her machine. She wrote 8:57 beside one sentence and closed the pad as Hale approached. "What are you noting?" he asked. "Sequence." "Court is in recess." "The clock isn't." Hale's smile disappeared. Marcus returned, holding a printout. "The evidence log says Mercer's camera uploaded at 9:41. Nia stood. "So the file existed." "For 11 minutes, Marcus said. Then its status changed to damaged. Amina scanned the page. "By whom?" Marcus pointed to an employee code. Across the room, Hale stepped backward. Dana emerged. "The archive contains no playable footage." "That is not the same as no footage," Amina said. Grant re-entered. Everyone rose. Marcus handed the log to the clerk. "This shows a successful upload before an administrative change." Grant read the page, then faced Hale. "Who has access to this code?" Hale opened his mouth. The courtroom screen flickered. For less than a second, a frozen image appeared. Nia in the east hallway. Mercer's hand raised toward her. Then the screen went black. The black screen reflected every face in the courtroom. "Restore the feed," Judge Grant said. The clerk pressed 2 keys. Nothing returned. Mercer moved toward the evidence cart. "The system failed. We can proceed." Marcus stepped between him and the monitor. "Do not touch that machine." "You are named in the disputed report." Hale entered from the side aisle. "Officer Mercer, return to your post." Mercer obeyed, but only far enough to stand beside Amina's row. Grant studied the printout. "Captain Hale, who has access to this code?" "Several supervisors." "Names?" "I need the roster." Amina leaned toward Marcus. "Ask for a hold on every copy." Dana rose first. "The defense is turning a minor obstruction matter into an unsupported accusation." "The accusation is supported by your log," Marcus said. "It proves a status change, not misconduct." Naya turned. "Then preserve the file and prove us wrong." Mercer pointed at her. "You've been warned about speaking out of turn." Amina stood. "Address counsel, not my daughter." Mercer stepped closer. "Sit down." "She is not interfering." "I wasn't talking to you." "You placed yourself beside us." The gallery went still. A woman near the aisle lowered her phone. Grant raised the gavel. "Miss Carter, take your seat." Amina kept her eyes on Mercer. "First, preserve the regional archive." "You do not direct this court." "No, Your Honor. I am asking it to protect evidence before another clock expires." Mercer caught her wrist. His thumb pressed beneath her cuff. The ceiling vent clicked off. Only Lana's shoe scraped the floor. "Release me," Amina said. "Sit down, or I'll remove you myself." Naya rose. Her legal pad struck the floor. Amina turned her wrist inward and stepped aside. Mercer's grip broke. He reached for his cuffs. "You assaulted an officer!" "No, I stopped you from twisting my arm." Hale hurried forward. "Hands where we can see them." Amina placed both palms on the rail. "They are visible." Metal clicked at Mercer's belt. "Back away," Amina said. "You don't give orders here." "Then listen to the court reporter." Everyone looked toward Lana. The red light beneath her machine pulsed. "I have the contact on audio," she said, "and the warning before it." Hale's face tightened. "Turn that recorder off." "It is part of the record." Grant struck the gavel. "Officer Mercer, step away." Mercer hesitated. "Now," Grant said. Mercer moved back. Amina straightened her burgundy cuff, revealing the pale outline of his fingers. Dana whispered to Hale. Hale answered, "We can hold her for contempt." Naya heard him. "For asking you not to erase evidence?" Grant looked toward the side door. "Miss Carter will be taken to temporary holding until I determine whether her conduct disrupted proceedings." Marcus stared at the bench. "Your Honor, file your motion." Two deputies approached. Amina removed the graduation photograph from her wallet and handed it to Naya. "Keep this safe." Naya closed her fingers around the softened corner. As the deputies led Amina away, no one in the gallery spoke. The cuffs Mercer still held swung unused from his hand. On the clerk's screen, the file status changed again. Pending deletion, 47 minutes. The holding room door closed at 9:18 a.m. with a padded thud. Amina sat on the metal bench and folded her jacket beside her. Cold moved through her trousers. The room smelled of bleach and rain. In the corridor, Naya held the picture between both hands, its softened corner bent under her thumb. Marcus arrived with the preservation motion. "Grant will hear this after recess." "How long?" "Long enough for the deletion clock to matter." Dana approached with the plea agreement. "The contempt issue can disappear." Naya did not take it. "How?" "Resolve your case today. A fine, no further finding against your mother." "You're trading her release for my signature." "I'm offering certainty." "Your certainty keeps changing." Dana pressed the agreement to her folder. 10 minutes. Through the glass, Amina watched her leave. Naya moved closer. The fluorescent tube above Amina flickered, turning the glass between them briefly black. "They'll release you if I sign." "No." "It clears the contempt order. It purchases silence." Nia's mouth tightened. "You always make everything sound simple." Amina placed her palm against the glass. Nia did not mirror it. "I spent years giving your absences names," Nia said. "Inspection, deployment, briefing. Today I asked you to be only my mother, and now you're behind another locked door." A pipe knocked once in the wall. Amina lowered her hand. "You are right." Nia blinked. "I thought providing for you excused not being beside you. It did not." Nia unfolded the photograph. You left before the graduation dinner. Yes. I kept checking the door. The metal bench pressed through Amina's clothes. I cannot repair that morning from here, she said. But I can refuse to let them use you to open this door. Nia's fingers shook. What if I lose my job? Then we face what comes next. We do not help them erase what came before. Marcus returned. I need authorization to contact military council. The regional system may recognize your government credentials. Amina stood. No. Nia stared at her. Why? Because the evidence existed before anyone knew my rank. A call could save it. A court order can save it for the next person, too. Marcus checked the clock. The judge may not sign in time. File the ordinary motion. Name the upload time, administrator code, and pending deletion. Send it to the regional records custodian. You know the archive structure? I know retention systems. At the corridor's end, Lana approached with her pad. My recorder captured Mercer's warning and the contact at the rail. Will you preserve it? Marcus asked. I already copied it to a sealed device. Hale appeared near the elevator. Lana tucked the pad beneath her arm. No visitors at the door, he ordered. Nia stepped away from the glass, but left the photograph against it for 1 second longer. Amina's younger face stood beside her daughter's crooked graduation cap. Mom, Nia said, I'm not signing. Amina touched the glass with 2 fingers. Marcus hurried toward the clerk's office. Lana took another staircase. Above them, inside the security suite, an archive terminal sounded one alert. Regional mirror found. At 9:43 a.m., Deputy Eli Santos stared at the archive terminal while the progress wheel froze at 97%. He was 29 and smoothed his tie whenever voices rose. The security office smelled of dust and overheated plastic. Close that screen, Captain Hale said from the doorway. Eli kept one hand on the mouse. The system is still indexing. It's damaged. The local copy is. Hale stepped inside. That is what I said. Eli opened the transfer history. Mercer's camera had uploaded automatically at 9:41 on the morning of Nia's arrest. 11 minutes later, an administrator changed the file status to corrupted. Beneath it remained a second line. Regional mirror complete. Eli's fingers slipped on the keyboard. Who else has seen this? No one. Keep it that way. Hale closed the door softly behind him. Amina sat on the holding room bench with her jacket folded beside her. Cold seeped through her trousers. Through the narrow window, she saw Nia beside Marcus, the unsigned plea agreement in her hand. 10 minutes left, a guard said. Then use them. Nia moved closer to the glass. Mom, if I sign, they release you. No. They said the contempt order disappears. That is not release. That is purchase. Nia's mouth tightened. You always make everything sound simple. Amina placed the photograph against the glass. It isn't simple. That's why you must choose what you can live with after today. Upstairs, Eli copied the mirror ID onto a yellow evidence label. His pen tore the paper. He opened the regional server. A green bar crawled across the monitor. 30%. A knock struck the door. Deputy, Mercer called. Eli opened a routine access log. 1 minute. The handle moved. 64%. Mercer knocked again. Hale wants the machine cleared. Eli pulled the network cable halfway loose, making the terminal appear stalled while the backup transfer continued. 91%. The door opened. Peppermint reached him before Mercer did. What are you doing? Inventory? Mercer studied the darkened archive window. Delete the failed uploads. I need an authorization code. You have mine. That code is already attached to the status change. Mercer's face went still. The transfer reached 100%. Eli slid the yellow label beneath the keyboard. I'll finish the log. Mercer leaned over him. You didn't see anything. Eli smoothed his tie. Then there should be nothing to worry about. At 10:02, Lana Reed found Marcus outside the holding room. Her cardigan was buttoned wrong. A recorder rested inside a clear evidence sleeve. The official feed wasn't the only device running, she said. What did it capture? Mercer saying to make Ms. Carter look unstable, Hale asking what I was writing, and the moment before they took her downstairs. Will you sign a statement? Lana glanced at the camera above them. I already did. Eli appeared at the far end of the corridor, walking too quickly. He handed Marcus the yellow label without stopping. Regional Mirror, he murmured. The preservation key is on the back. Marcus turned it over. A string of numbers ended with one word printed by the system. Complete. The courtroom doors opened at 10:11 a.m. Colonel Rowan Pierce entered first, rain darkening his uniformed shoulders. 2 military legal officers followed, polished shoes clicking across the marble. Conversation thinned row by row. Pierce stopped beside the defense table. Major General Carter, we've been trying to reach you. Mercer's hand left his badge. Nia looked at her mother. Major General? Amina rose from the bench where the guard had returned her jacket. The holding room's cold still clung to it. Colonel, this is a civilian proceeding. Yes, ma'am. Your inspection team has waited since 8. Judge Grant leaned forward. Ms. Carter, are you an active duty general officer? I am. Dana's folder slipped against the table edge. Hale caught it. Mercer whispered, She never identified herself. Amina turned toward him. You never asked. A murmur crossed the gallery. The older man in the second row lifted his eyes. Grant struck the gavel once. Silence! Pierce placed a sealed packet before Marcus. Our legal office received a preservation request routed through the regional server. We confirmed the file before coming here. Dana stood. Your Honor, military personnel cannot enter evidence without foundation. Agreed, Marcus said. That is why Deputy Santos is here. Eli appeared in the side doorway, tie crooked, a yellow evidence label pinched between 2 fingers. Hale stepped into his path. You were assigned downstairs. I was also assigned to preserve digital records. Return to your post. Eli's fingers moved toward his tie and stopped. No, sir. The words were quiet. They carried anyway. Amina watched Nia, not Hale. My rank does not make that answer braver, she said. The record does. Nia's shoulders lowered. Marcus handed the preservation key to the clerk. Please access the regional mirror. The clerk typed. The projector fan whined, blowing warm dust into the room. A green line appeared. File integrity confirmed. Mercer backed toward the rail. The video began without sound. Nia stood beside Samuel Boone in the east corridor, holding a benefits form. Mercer approached, pointed toward the exit, then blocked her when she tried to pass. The timestamp read 9:31. Marcus said, not 9:18. The audio loaded with a burst of static. You don't get to question me, Mercer's recorded voice said. Nia answered, I asked for your name. On screen, Mercer reached for her arm before she stepped back. Hale entered 2 minutes later. The report draft was visible in his hand. Pause, Amina said. The clerk froze the frame. Amina pointed to the paper. Zoom in. The image blurred, sharpened, then revealed a handwritten line across the top. Hall East, save video. Dana sat down. Grant removed his glasses. Captain Hale, who changed the file status? Hale looked at Mercer. Mercer looked at the floor. Pierce remained standing, but Amina raised one hand before he could speak. Your Honor, if I were a teacher, a cleaner, or a woman with no title, this evidence would still deserve preservation. Grant's face tightened. It will be. The video resumed. Hale's recorded voice filled the courtroom. Rewrite the time. Make it stick. No one moved until the projector fan clicked off. The projector fan clicked off, leaving the hum of the ceiling vents. Judge Grant looked toward Mercer. Did you alter the time in your report? Mercer swallowed. No, Your Honor. Marcus rose. Then let us hear the full audio. Dana shifted. The state objects. It explains how the incident was documented, Marcus said. Grant nodded. Play it. The waveform moved across the screen. Hale's voice came first. Rewrite the time. Make it stick. A chair creaked in the gallery. Mercer stared at the floor. Then came Nia's voice. I asked for your name. Mercer answered, You're making this harder than it needs to be. Samuel Boone sat in the second row, both hands around a wooden cane. He was 63, broad-shouldered despite a slight stoop, with a gray mechanic's mustache and a faded service ring. Marcus approached. Why were you here? To appeal a benefits denial. Who helped you? Nia Carter. Dana stood. We have not stipulated to this witness. You may cross-examine after foundation. Samuel pressed the cane into the carpet. I couldn't read half the form. Ms. Carter sat with me. Officer Mercer ordered me off the bench. What happened next? She asked why. He said she was interfering. Mercer shook his head. That's not what happened. Samuel turned toward him. You made me sign a paper I did not understand. Marcus placed a copy on the screen. Is this it? Samuel leaned forward. Yes. He covered the top line. The clerk enlarged the page. Waiver of complaint appeared in small print. Dana's pen stopped moving. Lana Reed came forward with her recorder sealed in plastic. It began automatically when I connected my machine. Marcus asked, Was it edited? No. The checksum matches the device log. Her recording filled the room with Mercer's whisper. Make her look unstable. Then none of the rest matters. Grant removed his glasses. Officer Mercer, answer. Mercer's fingers could not fasten his jacket button. I was talking about courtroom control. You were talking about a person, Lana said. Hale stood. My department will review this internally. Amina spoke from behind Marcus. Your department already reviewed it. Hale turned. The file status changed under an administrator code, she said. The complaints went through your office. An internal review would begin with the same people now under question. Grant looked to Eli. Can you verify the code? Eli placed the access log on the clerk's desk. It belongs to Captain Hale's supervisory account. Shared terminal, Hale said. Personal credentials, Eli replied. Two-factor confirmation at 9:52. The wall clock ticked twice. I am suspending this proceeding, Grant said. The charge against Ms. Carter will not move forward today. All digital records, complaint files, access logs, and audio are to be preserved under seal. Nia sat hard enough for the chair to scrape. Amina reached toward her, but Nia took Samuel's unsigned waiver and folded it. Someone should have read this to you, she said. Samuel nodded once. You did. At the side door, 2 independent investigators entered with empty evidence boxes. Mercer looked at Hale. Hale looked at the 11 complaint numbers appearing on Eli's second printout. The first evidence box landed on the clerk's table with a hollow thud. Denise Park, 50, entered behind the investigators in a rain-speckled slate coat. Silver-framed glasses rested low on her nose. "Captain Hale, step away from the files. This is my courthouse, not for this review." The room smelled of wet wool and warm electronics. Hale removed his hand. Denise placed the complaint folders before him, one by one. 11 complaints, all closed as unsubstantiated. Mercer stayed by the side door. People complain when officers enforce rules. Denise opened the first folder. No witness interviews. The second. No video request. The third. Closed 6 minutes after submission. Amina stood beside Naya with her jacket folded over one arm. She said nothing. The room no longer needed her rank to hold its attention. Denise slid a statement toward Samuel Boone. "Is this your signature?" "Yes." "Did anyone read the waiver aloud?" "No." Mercer shifted. "He signed voluntarily." Samuel turned his service ring. "You covered the heading with your hand." Dana Whitfield shut her legal pad. Its spiral clicked against the table. Denise faced her. "How many security cases ended with standard plea agreements this year?" 27. "How many involved missing recordings?" "I would need to check." Marcus pointed to the colored tabs in her folder. "You already did." Dana removed one page. 19. Naya held up her unsigned agreement. "You knew." "I knew the cases moved quickly." "You offered me the same words." "Yes." "Why?" Fluorescent lights buzzed. A cart squealed across the corridor. Dana looked toward Judge Grant. "The office rewarded closures. Challenging security reports meant delays, hearings, and calls from Captain Hale. I told myself a fine was kinder than uncertainty." Samuel asked, "Kinder to whom?" Dana lowered her eyes. Denise stacked the 11 folders. Each landed with a soft slap. "Captain, who approved these closures?" "My office." "Your name?" "My name is on them." Mercer stepped forward. "Captain, you don't have to." Hale raised one hand. "Stop." For once, Mercer obeyed. Hale loosened his collar. "The county administrator wanted complaint numbers down before the annual review. We were told to keep routine footage only for the minimum period." "Who gave that order?" "Deputy Administrator Calvin Rusk. Verbal first, then email." "Where?" "Archived under budget compliance." "And files marked corrupted?" Hale glanced at Mercer. "Some were manually reclassified so the retention clock would expire." Mercer's jaw tightened. "You approved it." "I did." The admission settled more heavily than the boxes. Amina spoke at last. "Did you watch the footage before closing each complaint?" Hale stared at the folders. "Sometimes." "That was not my question." His throat moved. "No." Denise sealed the last box with red evidence tape. The adhesive snapped in the quiet. Dana gathered the 27 plea files and placed them beside it. "Review these, too." Naya laid her unsigned agreement on top. Denise searched Hale's archive. At the bottom sat an email filed under budget compliance. Its subject carried tomorrow's date. "Delete remaining mirrors before audit." Denise Park lifted the printed email. "Who scheduled this?" Hale stared at the subject line. "Calvin Rusk's office." Judge Grant turned to the clerk. "Preserve every regional mirror, local archive, and access log tied to these complaints." Keys struck fast in the cold room. Dana Whitfield gathered the plea files. The state moves to dismiss the charge against Nia Carter with prejudice. Nia did not move. Marcus rose. And expungement? Immediate. Written notice to her employer? Yes. Grant looked over the bench. Miss Carter, the charge is dismissed with prejudice. Your record will be cleared. No fee, no delay. The gavel fell once. Nia watched the unsigned agreement on the evidence box. Then she picked it up and tore it slowly along the signature line. The paper made a dry, narrow sound. Mercer flinched. Grant removed his glasses. Miss Carter, I allowed urgency to replace scrutiny. I treated questions about evidence as disorder. I apologize. Nia folded the halves together. Will the other 26 people get hearings? Denise answered. Every case will be reviewed. Not quietly? No. Amina stood behind her daughter, one hand on an empty chair. Rain ticked against the high windows. Two investigators approached Mercer. You are suspended pending formal proceedings, Denise said. Turn over your credentials and access card. Mercer removed his badge. His thumb rubbed its edge twice before he placed it on the table. I followed procedure. Eli Santos looked at the evidence boxes. You changed it when it stopped protecting you. Hale pulled his identification wallet from his coat. My resignation will be delivered before noon. Resignation does not end the inquiry, Denise said. I know. Dana set her case files beside the sealed boxes. I am referring my conduct to the ethics board. Before or after they ask? Before. Outside, reporters had gathered. Their voices pressed through the doors. Amina waited until Nia chose the side corridor. At the security desk, a guard returned Amina's phone and watch without speaking. She fastened the watch and turned the phone face down. Nia leaned against the wall. The chair emailed. What did he say? That the college welcomes the dismissal. Her laugh held no warmth. My fall courses were reassigned. The board will discuss my contract next month. Amina's hand stopped at her cuff. They cleared my record, Nia said. They didn't give me the semester back. No. Or the students who watched me disappear from the schedule. No. Nia looked toward the lobby, where strangers whispered, General Carter. You could have ended this sooner with one call. I could have changed how they treated me, but not how they treat everyone else. Amina nodded. Samuel Boone waited near the exit, holding his cane and a fresh complaint form. Ms. Carter, he said to Nia, would you read the first page with me? Nia looked at the rain, then at the torn plea agreement in her hand. She placed both halves in the nearest bin. Let's start at the top, she said. Behind them, Denise sealed the courtroom doors and posted notice of an independent review. Beneath the heading, a blank line waited for the first public hearing date. At 9:06 a.m., 3 weeks later, the county attorney slid a settlement across the table. Compensation, legal fees, and a public statement, she said. In exchange, no discussion of internal procedures. Rain traced the windows. The room smelled of burnt coffee. Amina read the confidentiality clause, folded the page, and pushed it back. No. This is a substantial offer. My title is not part of the claim. Nia sat beside her. And silence is not compensation. Denise Park opened the reform draft. The paper was still warm from the copier. Then we discussed terms that remain public. County Council wanted body cameras activated only during arrests. Eli Santos insisted activation begin with every enforcement contact. Pressure starts before anyone says arrest, he said. A security supervisor shook his head. That creates storage costs. Lana Reed placed her recorder on the table. "So does losing the truth." No one answered. By noon, they had moved to the hearing chamber. Naya wrote 4 words across the board. "Preserve first. Review outside." "What does outside mean?" the attorney asked. "Not the same command chain," Naya said. "Complaints go to an independent office. Witnesses receive tracking numbers. Deletion requires written authorization and an audit trail." "And plea discussions?" Dana Whitfield asked. Marcus turned. "Recorded when they involve alleged misconduct by court personnel." Dana nodded. "Add written notice explaining employment consequences. I never gave Naya that." Naya added the line. Amina spoke when the debate drifted toward exceptions. "No verbal waivers." "General, no rank," she corrected. "A person should not need a uniform, a lawyer, or a room full of cameras to make a complaint survive overnight." "You are redesigning a department around one incident," the supervisor said. Denise opened the 11 complaint folders. "We are redesigning it around the incidents you refused to count." A floor buffer whined in the corridor, then faded. At 4:18 p.m., Judge Grant entered with the final order. He took a chair at their table. "I have one concern," he said. "Judicial discretion." Nia looked at him. "Discretion without a record brought us here." Grant held her gaze, then crossed out the exception. The county attorney stamped the last page. Approved. Red ink spread. Eli exhaled. Lana turned off her recorder only after the stamp dried. Reporters waited outside. Amina passed them without stopping. Nia caught up near the elevators. "You could have taken the money. It was never only ours." Nia pressed the approved order to her chest. "The college offered me one evening seminar next term. That is not your old position." "No, but it has 22 seats." The elevator numbers descended. Beside the security desk, a new notice read, "All complaints receive an independent case number." Below it, an older woman in a cleaner's uniform completed a form while Eli waited without touching her pen. Nia followed Amina's gaze. "No title," she said. Amina nodded. "That was the point." The elevator closed on the red-stamped order between them and on the first class Nia would teach since the courthouse had taken her semester away. 4 months later, Nia wrote, "Preserve first" across the classroom board before the last student found a seat. The evening seminar met above the college library. Rain tapped the high windows as 22 adults opened notebooks. Nia wore the same navy blouse she had worn to court, but no paper waited for her signature. "Authority leaves records," she told them. "Your first question is not who seems important. It is what was saved." In the last row, Amina sat alone in her charcoal suit. No escort waited outside. Her gold eagle pin remained in her coat pocket. After class, Samuel Boone placed a corrected benefits decision on Nia's desk. His appeal had been approved after the county reopened his complaint. "They read every page this time," he said, "as they should have the first time." He tapped his cane once and left. Nia erased the board until only "preserve" remained. Then she took the old graduation photograph from her bag. The bent corner had been flattened beneath a heavy book. "You kept this," Amina said. "I needed to decide what it meant." Nia set it between them. "That day, you came as my mother." Amina touched the restored corner. "I should have come that way more often." Across town, the courthouse released its first public report. 11 old complaints had become 34 reviewed cases. 7 convictions were vacated, 14 records corrected, and each complainant received a written explanation. Blake Mercer had been dismissed after the panel found that he altered reports, pressured witnesses, and misused his authority. His certification remained under state review. Ronan Hale's resignation was accepted, but the county barred him from security supervision while investigators completed the case. Dana Whitfield received an ethics sanction, lost her courtroom assignment for a year, and began reviewing the plea files she had once treated as routine. Judge Grant ordered every evidence dispute involving courthouse staff heard by an outside judge. No one applauded when Denise Park read the findings. She simply turned the page. The reforms appeared in smaller moments. Body cameras activated at the first enforcement contact. Regional copies could not be erased from local terminals. Related plea offers required recorded explanations. Every complaint received an independent case number before the person left the building. Eli Santos became the county's digital evidence instructor. On his first training day, he placed the yellow preservation label beneath a projector. "A backup is not a technical detail," he said. "Sometimes it is the only witness that cannot be frightened." Lana Reed helped build a protected reporting channel for courthouse workers and visitors. Her unevenly buttoned cardigan appeared in the official training photograph, and she refused the request for a second picture. At sunset, Amina and Nia walked past the courthouse security desk. Gray trays rattled beneath phones and watches. An older cleaner completed a complaint form while a deputy waited across the counter without touching the paper. Amina slowed. Nia followed her gaze. "Do you think it will hold?" "Only if people keep looking." They stepped outside. Wind carried wet leaves across the courthouse steps. Nia slipped the graduation photograph into Amina's wallet, but left the once bent corner visible. For the first time, it pointed forward. Have you ever seen someone pressured to stay silent because speaking up was inconvenient for those in authority? Share what happened in the comments, especially if one careful question, saved record, or unexpected witness changed the outcome. Send this story to someone who believes dignity should never depend on a title, uniform, job, or social position. Stories like Amina and Nia's remind us that quiet resistance can protect more than one person when it leads to rules that protect everyone. Subscribe for more stories about justice, quiet strength, accountability, and lasting systemic change. Your support helps bring attention to the moments when ordinary people refuse to look away, and when institutions are finally required to listen.